Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Business List. We are The Business List, and we are your source for stories inside the party across the country and around the world. We are LP Alliance, an inter-caucus coalition, unifying, rebuilding, and revolutionizing the Libertarian Party. I'm Amanda Griffiths, and I'm joined by Jake Porter, Rose Leatherman, and I'm not joined by Kyle Davis. He's just here. Everyone, how are you doing?
Kyle's always here. He just kind of exists.
I just kind of, we feel bad for him, really. So we just let him, we let him pop in from time to time. Feel good about
We hand him.
We sleep in the studio.
It's like when you hand your little sibling a video game controller that's not plugged in so that they can play along with you guys.
There we go.
With you and your friends, yeah.
We do have quite a lot to get to, so we should probably get to it. Kyle, you said that you had a breaking item for us since we invited you in.
Indeed. For anyone that doesn't know, LP Colorado has a pretty simple point on their notice for conventions. They have to have 45 days notice. That's it. That's nice and simple, right? And you would think that anyone with the ability of a toddler to read a calendar would be able to get this right. Unfortunately, neither Hannah Goodman nor Jim Wiley, the current chair and the proposed future chair, can read a calendar. Miss Gallopin' Alpha Philly Vibes is incapable of properly noticing. So instead of being at a zoo, Hannah's normal, contentious home, it instead will be in her hometown of Holyoke, Colorado. So it has gone from being in the middle of nowhere to the middle of nowhere, but the new middle of nowhere is right beside the chair, which seems very interesting considering it's by no one else. For those who are not aware, that means you got 6 weeks to figure out what's going on. If you had reservations for housing, et cetera, in the area, too damn bad. It's no longer useful. You have to get things together. And if you want to show up to that convention to get your voice heard, well, let everyone know how much you love your great, great state chair, because she has done such a lovely job at destroying more than half of your party. Over half your membership's gone. And her long-term goal appears to be, based on the trajectory right now, to make sure that the party is as poor as she is. That's what I got for the moment.
So to recap, Colorado has changed the date and the location of its convention radically. Is this properly noticed?
They have gotten inside of the 45 minutes this particular time.
45 minutes?
Minutes. Sorry.
I was going to say.
It was in 45 minutes. You need to know.
Calendars are, in fact, bad for minutes. Yes, it will be starting, I believe, at 10 a.m. I have the massage here. Yes, the time and place of the convention now will be on June the 28th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the Phillips County Event Center, 22505 US 385, Holyoke, Colorado, 80734. I will throw that in the chat for anybody who hasn't already gotten this notice. Their notice does require it going out to all of their actual members and everything. And I think officially it says it has to be like a first-class post, but no one actually follows those anymore. So, yeah, whatever.
We should do our best to help out and double-check with all their members just to make sure that they got those notices.
I think so, too.
We're helping. We're helping.
So too. Yeah. One of the things that LP Alliance does, obviously, is we do get out the vote efforts. We make sure that the right people are at the right conventions at the right time. And seems like something that we should really be working on with respect to Colorado. So thank you, Kyle, for putting that new information there in the chat. We are not unfamiliar with various tactics to improperly notice convention or kind of pull a fast one in terms of changing the convention, skirting different bylaws. And we can speculate, but usually this has happened in the past when the Mises Caucus, say, has been anxious about losing. They have changed details in order to keep people from coming and then maybe be able to pull in some others who they would like. What seems to be the rationale here? I thought that Colorado was a pretty secure Mises state.
Well, I mean, in the past, we've seen, for example, it won't be properly noticed, and then someone doesn't get the results they want, and oops, it wasn't properly noticed, so therefore none of these votes are valid. We're gonna have to reschedule. okay, how many people can actually take the time off of work and afford the travel fees to go to another convention a couple months later? I don't know if that doesn't appear to be in this instance what's going on, though.
So in this particular instance, you're talking about people who are like not just ostensibly stupid, but like actively stupid. And so it's
Hey, that's
very
not
difficult.
fair. They're brilliant political strategists. Did you
Yes,
look at
true.
that thing they got RFK to sign his name on?
Oh my God. Jim Wiley actually responded to LP National pointing out that we are not conservatives and we're not reactionaries with, but we could be as, oh my God, as if he's being clever. It's worse than second grade.
We're going to sue you if you hold us accountable to the affiliate agreement we signed.
Yeah. We signed a contract and we don't want to follow it. Idiots. So when people are stupid and evil, right? When someone is trying to be manipulative and they're also stupid, it's hard to tell or care which one it is. Whether this is out of malice or this is out of utter ineptitude. At the end of the day, this is the new time for people have to get to. If anybody was going to show up to the old location, please complain. And otherwise, go show up and vote. Do I think there's a possibility here that they wanted 45 more days to organize after realizing that, they've ran everyone off and that's a mistake? I don't have any evidence, but that's what I think. So that's pretty where I am. I'm snarky today. I'm mad about it.
Well, since
Good,
we are
good. Expect that anger to be appropriate tasks.
Since we are already discussing LP News and LP Colorado is part of this story as well, we recently learned that LP National's March 2025 membership report and the reported percentage changes of membership for states is inaccurate. So initially, and this comes from Liberty Centuries, by the way, initially the national change in sustaining membership had been reported as down 1.64%. We're already very low in terms of sustaining membership, by the way. So 1.64% is a lot. It's increasing. It's increasingly bad, right? If we're still dropping members, it is in fact down 2.19%, rather than 1.64. So it looks to be that LP Colorado is one of the ones that misreported. I'm looking at these numbers now. They were using the National was using the incorrect formula, so it was misreported formulaically, and that's a difference of almost 60 members.
Normally, I wouldn't care about 60 members. We're under 10,000.
Yeah, exactly. It's 60 members is not a good number to lose when you're already very, very low and we're already dwindling. There's some speculation as to, let's discuss the falling membership first. I think there was an assumption by some that immediately after McArdle's disgraced resignation, there would be an uptick or at least a leveling off of members. And, it could be a few things. People could still either be very jaded and unwilling to jump back into the fray, or we could be seeing, because we are seeing a decline in membership, my theory is that there are perhaps some people who are leaving the Libertarian Party in protest against McArdle's resignation. And some of these might be folks who have said that they're going to go to the GOP. Some of these folks might just be checking out and becoming so-called MAGAtarians. So my theory right now would be that these are people who are pro-McArdle and who are unhappy with her removal.
I don't want to get my hopes up there, because these people who the pro McArdle crowd has been threatening to leave and join the GOP because they were unhappy with the direction the party took, which of course just means it's started going back towards actual libertarian principles. These people have been saying, that's it, I'm done, I'm going to join the Republican Party for months and months now, and they still have not done so. So I would love to think that that's what's going on, but I'm not convinced. I think there are still a lot of people who even though we've seen a lot of wins in recent months, like I think there are a lot of people who still are feeling demoralized and letting their memberships lapse. Like I still talk to them all the time, like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I just can't stay a member of this party. These are the people that we need, but I think a lot of them are still just deciding that they don't want to remain involved. I hear it all the time. I'm so sick of the infighting. I just can't do it anymore. Okay, I'll join if the infighting ever stops. Which, I mean, we're libertarians. I don't know if there's ever going to be no infighting, but
Infighting
has
is necessary.
been particularly bad in recent years.
Look, if you never air your dirty laundry,
healthy. An actual full-blown libertarian party civil war, not so much.
if you never air your dirty laundry, your laundry never gets clean. So infighting, it on principle is not a terrible thing. It just needs to be principled infighting. Yeah, Jake, what say you?
Well, I want to point out, I believe this is the first time that the party's been under 10,000 members since 1993. So 32 years, the first time the party's been under 10,000 members, and that's very concerning for anyone that watches that. The other point being that I'm not for sure why the percentages and numbers don't add up. That's also concerning that the executive director, it appears, has one job these days, and that's to get this report out. I would like to know what the party has been doing to try to get members back in, and what they're going to do in the future. And that's something, there's a lot of issues that the party's got to figure out. You know, it's possible that some of these are people that are leaving because McArdle's gone. The people that have left before just aren't coming back as quick yet, and that we're not able to attract new people because our messaging has been terrible for so long that there's going to be a lot of work to do to get this party back in the shape that it needs to be. It can be done, but it's going to take a lot of work.
I think did you want to say something?
No, that was
okay. I was going to say, I think one thing worth considering though, like, okay, I mean, we're all used to the idea every election cycle that, oh, this is the most important election of our lifetime. We can't afford to vote third party. I mean, we joke about this every cycle. However, in this particular case, I feel like the bigger and more controlling the state gets, and it just grows regardless of which party is in office, it just grows and becomes more controlling, okay, more oppressive every cycle. I think we actually are seeing more and more people who, with that mentality, who are, okay, people don't go to the polls and vote for what they want. They go to the polls and they vote defensively because they're afraid of what the other party is going to do to them. They vote for the lesser of two evils. And I think the state has gotten so big and so out of control that, yeah, the number of people who would have remained principal and who would want to vote third party has gotten smaller and smaller. So to be fair, it may not entirely be anything that the Libertarian Party is doing. It could be that the number of people who think that they can afford to vote third party is just getting smaller.
Well, and Rose, to your point, you know, I'm concerned, as Jake was bringing up, that our membership is so low because of what a critical juncture we're at right now. And we are going to get into this later on in the show with Trump's first 100 days. This is a dangerous time. We missed our chance with COVID. The Libertarian Party did. We were not strong enough on our messaging. We were not firm enough on our messaging. And as a result, we allowed a lot of oppression and totalitarianism to creep in. It's happening again. And just because it's happening from the right does not mean that we shouldn't care. It's happening again. And so it's extremely concerning that our membership is so low. I don't think we're going to bring people into the Libertarian Party by talking about Ayn Rand and objectivism. I think that we bring people into the Libertarian Party by getting them involved in causes. And this is what we're going to need to start doing. We're going to need to start being active. If we are a party of principle, we need to be a party of principled action. When you involve a group of people in a common project and a common cause, you are by default investing them in that cause. And then you get the buy-in. But they need to act. And we need to be recruiting people, not just to the party, to actual things that we do on the ground, to things that we organize on the ground. Through the relationships that come in that process, we're going to be able to get members in. But we're not getting members in simply by talking. We need to be acting. And hopefully that's going to be something that we get into a little bit more when we discuss, as I said, Trump's first 100 days. But that is how we get membership up. We get membership up by getting out and moving and enlisting them.
Right. And I believe that is where local affiliates come into play. Okay. The purpose of the national, I think, should be, getting our message out there, attracting people who may be liberty curious. But your local county affiliate, that's what you're going to join. And that's where people should be doing things like carrying out local activism. It could be anything from, feeding the homeless or distributing economic literature or lobbying your local government to pass regulations or rescind regulations that are impacting our ability to live our lives. Okay, it could be forming a skill sharing network or doing mutual aid. But this is what local affiliates should be doing. And then that's how you get people into our movement. I think a lot of people join. The purpose of a third party, in a lot of ways, is to help like-minded people network and for the purpose of education. Okay, we're not expecting to win the presidential election. Okay, we exist so that we can get like-minded people together and so that we can get people into local winnable offices.
And it's not just about education. It is about activism too. I love, getting candidates elected is critical. And it's never going to stop being critical. I would love to have a libertarian president someday or some kind of libertarian leader. I also think that when we just focus on a small group of people, our candidates, we lose out on the individuals that comprise this party. We lose out on causes when we only focus on candidates every couple of years. The causes support the candidates support the causes. And when it comes to education and activism, we are trying to make a change. That happens through elections, and it also happens through movements. And I would love to see our party getting a lot better at coordinating these types of movements. I'd like to see the networks within our party getting better at coordinating these.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think back to around 2000 and during the W. Bush administration, the left was very weak. The Democrats were weak. The Libertarian Party didn't do as much as what we should have. And we were hurt because of that. Same thing is happening today. The Democrats are very weak. We can be the force that goes out there and stands up against this tyrannical rule. We can be the ones that stand up for the Constitution, that stand up for individual rights. And we may be the only people that go out there and do that, because the Democrats are like, we can't talk about these controversial issues because we wanted to only talk about the price of eggs. We need to talk about all these issues, and we need to move the American public in our way and show them that there are better options than what they're facing here.
So
what are we looking at, Kyle?
Yes. So these are the official charts from National. April 2021 through March 2025. Here is our lifetime memberships. As you may notice, there were a bump right there for the RFK voting. This is where they removed a whole bunch of people who have died, etc.
Is that bump literally just RFK? The bump is RFK and the worm.
Mm-hmm. Right here is the brain worm.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
here.
good.
Yeah. And right here, this change here is where McArdle left. McArdle resigned, and we see this big of a bump in lifetime membership, because that's how much she wasn't liked by the party, despite her claims. So try to keep generally the idea for these years in your head. And if we look up, this is coming off of Jo Jorgensen's campaign. There's always a big dip in membership if you go back all the way as far as we have, which is 78, I think. I've got the charts somewhere. There's a dip after the presidential campaign, and then it levels out, And that's our new baseline membership. So you can see that happened here. So what do you think this bump is right here? If your
Me.
guess was the Reno reset, you're correct.
Reno reaction.
So we had a bump and then it died. So what is this bump? October 23. This is where the people started campaigning for the presidential election this year. And right here, we see the wiggles happening because of the back and forth between Chase Oliver and Rechtenwald effectively. This drop is potentially because of Dave Smith, but it's hard to tell with this kind of a resolution. And if you'll notice, after Chase is nominated, we actually see the rate of change get better. When all the things, and here, this jump here is where RFK was announced. So what we have is literally the membership in real time responding to the things that we've complained about. Blatantly. You can see it. It's in the data. It is not questionable. And we've continued to drop since then. But if you'll notice, it's leveled out. If you look at the slope here, this is the rate we were losing. We are no longer losing membership as badly. We're still losing membership, but at a decreased rate. The thing that's important there is we're heading toward an inflection point. The party is moving in a way that's positive again. We see the lifetime membership starting to go up. People are beginning to notice the changes. So, hearing that we're under 10,000 sustaining members is very sad, right? Like a lot of us are, it's easy to want to throw your hands up and panic, but it's not the time to panic. It's the time to get pissed. We see this.
We don't have to be pissed, though. We
Yes,
use that as an opportunity to get the right people to join.
That's what being pissed is. You get people to join by being pissed.
You take that pissed offedness and you direct it towards growing the party and getting the right people involved in it.
I want to know, first of all, I want to know why Jake and Joe don't like the graphs, but I want to also address something that Jocelyn is saying in the comments because it's important. We are good at pointing out what's wrong with the state. We lack at giving sound solutions. Jocelyn is correct, and this is the power of the single issue coalition. This is exactly why these are important. You find a particular issue, you find a particular problem and solution, and you're going to work across ideological lines in order to realize that solution. Whether it's canvassing, whether it's petitioning, whether it's demonstration of some other sort, single issue coalitions are incredibly valuable. There's a difference between a single issue coalition and something like the Kennedy Victory Fund, right? We do not align with another political party. We align with individuals, and we align with individuals and individual issues. And we do that by talking to them as individuals, not as Republicans, not as Democrats. We use the language that they speak in their daily lives when it comes to issues germane to them. If we're doing gig economy work, if we're trying to empower individual workers, right, by making it easier to get into the gig economy, set your own hours, what have you, we talk to single moms as single moms. We talk to grad students as grad students. We don't talk to people as Republicans and Democrats and whatever else. We talk to them as the individuals that they are, and that's how we bring them to a cause. And yes, when it comes to giving sound solutions, that's how it happens, because otherwise we're ideological and rabid. We are ideological and rabid, but we have to keep it on side. So when it comes to recruiting people, because I'm not going to win hearts and minds if I just start screaming taxation is theft on a street corner. I'll do that. I mean, that's just what I do.
I mean, who doesn't do that though? I mean, this is how I spend every Friday night.
So whenever I crash out, I just go on my street corner. Taxation is theft. But you do win hearts and minds by finding out what matters to people and the role that they play when it comes to that issue that matters. And you get them invested in a cause by allowing them to express their individuality and individuate themselves through the work that they do through that cause. That is individualistic collective action 101. And it's possible, but this is what we need to start doing. And yes, Susan, I agree. Solutions are for individuals and organizations, not the state, which is why the state doesn't give us solutions. It just throws money at problems and invests in more problems.
Right. Like, as nice as it is to be able to feel morally superior because, hey, we have the most principled, most consistent ideology ever. Okay, you're not going to get things done that way. Okay. If you want to decriminalize drugs in your city, you're probably going to be working with progressive Democrats. Then maybe over time, as you're working with them, you can start to sort of steer them in the right direction. But in the meantime, you realize, okay, I don't agree with you on a lot of things, but I think drug prohibition is evil because it's getting people locked in prison cells for something that's victimless. So therefore, we should set our differences aside and work on this solution together. But so, yeah, like, single issue coalitions are how you actually get things done. However, as was already pointed out, there's a difference between working with people and actively selling out your principles. Okay, so if you're working on an anti-war coalition, you may be working with communists, but that doesn't mean that you need to fundamentally alter your platform to make it more communist friendly, or that you need to start endorsing Communist Party candidates. You work together on this issue, but you hold true to your principles and you still operate as a distinct political entity.
Exactly.
I know that's disappointing to Amanda. She's been trying to bring us all over to communism for a long time.
Running for chair of the Communist Party. Now I can't. Yeah, Chase, I worked with plenty of non-libertarians without selling out our party. I think maybe I've done this rant before, and I've done this a few times lately because it seems like dereliction of duty. We need young members. Young people are by nature more libertarian. Students are by nature more libertarian. College students, university students. Kyle thinks colleges and universities are the same thing. He's wrong.
Not wrong.
And I teach, I'm a graduate student and I teach the students, their opportunity, their one party through which they can buck the current political system that has a presence on campus is DSA. That's it. Now the Libertarian Party is not on campus, and they think that Libertarian Party is crazy. They think it's LPNH, they think it's LP Colorado, and they will say this. They'll say that it's this ridiculous right-wing thing. When students have found out that I am a libertarian, they are surprised until we actually start talking and I explain what that means to me. They're not happy with DSA. That's just all that they have. And they repeatedly will say this to me in the office hours, that it's not really that DSA is particularly good or well organized, or that they even really agree with many of the DSA principles. It's just that it's there and they want people to be empowered.
Right. It's the option that's not Democrat or Republican that actually cares about the people according to their platform.
And because DSA is the only one with the messaging presence, we've given them a voluntary monopoly. We've forfeited that territory to them. We've said, okay, you can tell people what?
Since everyone in the comments are libertarians, they don't know what DSA is.
They do. It's Democratic Socialists of America. Thank you, Rose.
I don't think that
everyone knows what DSA is.
Technically, aren't they even not really a political party, but they operate kind of like one?
Yeah. See, Chase knows what DSA is. We have smart viewers, Kyle. But yeah, so
Joe had just asked Amanda.
Joe was no, he didn't. Drug and sex. He was being ironic, Kyle. Joe, I'm helping you out. You got to agree with me because I'm making you sound smart, okay? So yes. Anyway, see, now you made me lose my thunder. Yeah. So DSA has this voluntary ideological monopoly where they can say, okay, here's what it means to reject the state. We're forfeiting that territory. There's no reason for us to, especially because a lot of people in DSA are authoritarians anyhow. And folks realize it, and then they're really lost, and they check out of politics entirely. See, Joe agrees with me.
Amanda, you mentioned something a couple times, which means, And in marketing, there's a thing that we always do when you're selling a feature, right? You always say which means, and then you sell the benefit because people are
Mhm.
buying benefits, not features. And too many times I've seen the Libertarian Party and candidates, and even the National Party, just quote the platform verbatim. Okay, what does that mean? Well, now they know your position on whatever issue, but explain how it benefits to them. And I don't think we always do a very good job at that. That we sell the features, but we don't sell the buyer benefits of it, and it
You
leaves a
need to
lot of
know how
people.
to translate your principles into actual real world ideas.
And
Like,
also, you know, the Mises Caucus has been talking about the Ron Paul issues. The war ended quite a few years ago, and they haven't figured it out yet. America has moved on, and there's other topics that we need to talk about other than a war that ended some years ago.
right.
And I
Like,
don't think they were able to move out of that. It becomes a
Right.
nostalgia campaign, a long-term
Right.
nostalgia campaign.
right. We
where
need to
campaign
focus on
conventions
things
are-
that are actually hot button issues, such as healthcare. Okay. There's a correct way to talk about it and an incorrect way. And libertarians, okay, this is kind of one of my biggest pet peeves because I see libertarians dropping the ball on this constantly, talking about how, oh, well, if you can't afford healthcare, then you shouldn't get it. Okay, no. We need to
You
explain.
should just die.
Yes, if someone gets cancer and can't afford the treatment, they should just die. Yeah, that's definitely gonna get your average person interested in our ideas. No. Okay, give people a very quick explanation of why healthcare is so expensive because of regional monopolies brought about by certificate of need laws, because of the insurance cartels, the fact that there are laws restricting who and where you can buy your insurance. And then you explain to people why free market solutions are best. Like why does my local emergency room have an 8-hour wait time when there's obviously a demand that's not met for emergency care, but it's literally illegal to open another emergency care facility unless I have the permission of the existing hospitals, who of course are not going to grant it because why would they?
Right.
Okay, they have a captive audience. It's not like people can go without their care, so they tough it out and they wait 8 hours to be seen by a doctor.
I've got a lot of folks to agree with me on over-the-counter prescription medications. Again, the DSA types, by the way, that means Democratic Socialists of America.
Thank you.
Nobody, because everyone already knew what it
I
meant.
was confused.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, no, I was confused about a lot of things. So the DSA folks have agreed on so many times in so many cases on over-the-counter drugs, over-the-counter prescription drugs. And then when you get them to agree on that, it's just a hop and a skip and a jump to actual free markets, because if it's over the counter, it's a free market solution. So you get them in on that. And another thing too that I'd like to point out when it comes to healthcare is that Obamacare made doctor-owned hospitals illegal. Nope.
Yep.
Nope. No worker-owned organizations. We need to have corporate hospitals, not doctor-owned, employee-owned hospitals when we're socializing healthcare. It's a lie, everyone. It's all just one big lie. Anyway. Jake, I'm so sorry. You said that you served on the Certificate of Need Board in Iowa?
Yes, I did. The governor appointed me to a 5-person board, and I made a few tie-breaking votes. It was interesting, but you would have the existing hospitals that spent a lot of money to come in there and try to shut out competition, existing nursing homes, and even if they say, "Well, we approved these things," at the end of it, it still cost a lot of money and a lot of time to get these things approved.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I think they're finally doing away with the certificate of need in Iowa. They would come to us and say, "Well, people are going to die." And I'd say, "Well, you don't have a certificate of need law in California, and people in California aren't dying. California, of all places, doesn't think you need it. Why would Iowa?"
Yeah.
But it was definitely put in there for that reason, and it was a protectionist policy from after World War II that's just remained in place all these years that doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I figured the reason that emergency care takes so long in New York for like a Rose's case is just that like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are gone after the 80s.
I mean, yeah, if you look back, things really did start to go to shit after the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So,
Yeah. They got rid of the Domino's half-hour policy.
We got rid
It
of
all-
Put those
Cheburashka.
kids'
That's what happened.
Okay.
Last
Wow.
episode of Cheburashka was Cheburashka Goes to School, and Cheburashka never actually went to school, by the way. That cartoon was
It
made
all
in
makes
1983.
sense now.
He's
I can't
still
believe
not
I
been
never
to
made
school.
this connection.
Yeah.
So what about
Illiterate
the Teenage
little
Mutant
mouse.
Ninja Turtles that returned in the 2010s, though?
They were cartoon.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't the same.
Because we'll probably get back to single issue coalitions and activism through this route anyhow, perhaps we should switch to national news. And Trump has just completed his second first 100 days in office. Who knows if he will have a third first 100 days in office? It's a new era, good people.
He's not making a third one.
So he has completed his first 100 days. Scorecard. What grade are we giving Donald Trump for his what libertarian grade are we giving Donald Trump for his first 100 days?
Well,
He's
that's
expelled.
always going to be an F. I mean, do we have to grade on the presidential curve or?
If you can give a curved grade and then an overall grade. Just got very bright because I turned on my light. There we go.
F. I mean, he's destroyed the economy in 100 days. He has changed our entire trade policy for the worst. That it's going to take decades probably now to get out of the damage that he's already done. He wants to send citizens to El Salvador. He's already sent people to El Salvador without due process. He's put us into a potential constitutional crisis of not listening to the Supreme Court. Congress is nowhere to be seen. They're all just falling over each other, saying how much they can defend Donald Trump at this point. Very few of them doing anything. And we realize that we have one branch of government now, and that's Donald Trump. So
Yep.
I would give him definitely an F. And, some of the things he says are just idiotic. He was talking about the Declaration of Independence the other day, and he said that it was a unifying document. It was a document of, what was it? He said love and unity. And you can tell he doesn't have any idea what the Declaration of Independence even is.
He didn't even look at the Wikipedia page or like the interaction with the journalist where like the guy that they deported to El Salvador. He's like, but
He had MS-13.
tattooed on his. It was photoshopped on over tattoos that somebody decided meant MS-13. And Trump's like,
And
and he's like,
someone
"We're not
pointed
being
out
very nice."
that is photoshopped, and he doubled down.
Well, that's what you do.
It absolutely isn't.
And then you have all these
You're
conservative
not
accounts
being
saying
very
Donald
nice.
Trump
I
was
brought
right.
you on here because I didn't know who you were.
Yeah, I give him an F for fascism, and we're all gonna go to El Salvador. I just hope I get the top bunk there. It'd be very nice. But
Well, they
yeah,
like let us do podcasts while we're there.
I have a way with people in positions of intermediary authority. I'm sure I could make some friends with the guards. Have us get on air a couple times, and we can let people know how it's gone down there. So that's
Okay.
good. Yeah, F for fascism.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, what's up, Kyle?
There are 31 planks on the Libertarian Party platform. And I think that if we just give him 3 points for every plank that he's respected, that seems like a fair thing out of 100, right? Yeah, I understand it's only 93, but it's close enough. We can give him that first 7 points. That's fine. He'll start off at 7 points. Self-ownership. Nope. He has definitely been deporting people. Expression and communication. Nope. He just backs Texas banning memes about politicians and is trying to sue the news. Privacy. Nope. Because not only do you not get due process, they're looking through your tax records to see if you might be an illegal, while also telling everybody that illegals don't pay taxes. Personal relationships. Do I even have to say more? Stormy Daniels. Parental rights. No, he's not good there either, because parental rights means you can raise children to your own standards, your own beliefs. Sorry,
Maybe
trans
not
kids, you don't get to exist anymore.
Yeah,
Maybe not send the
state hates
2-year-old
that.
with cancer to Honduras either.
There are 3 kids that they have sent deported who are all citizens, all with cancer. A 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old have all been deported with cancer who are American citizens.
Perhaps he thinks it's contagious. He just wants to get it out of the
Probably.
country. Yeah.
Oh, God.
He should go for injecting bleach and light to solve the problem.
You know, maybe
Um,
because Joe Biden said that he was going to cure cancer. Maybe Trump is going to try to, you know, outdo him by at least like deporting all the cancer. Anyone who has cancer gets deported.
Adult rights and responsibilities? No, he's taking things away from us. He's already said that if someone makes a site like Ross in the future, they should get the death penalty. Crime and justice? Ignoring the judicial. Death penalty? Just mentioned it. Self-defense? He's already talking about curbing gun ownership again.
So,
Aggression, property, and contract? Out the door. As I go through these, and everyone else can go correct me if I'm wrong, I think he only gets those 7 original points. He
But he
is
freed Ross.
terrible. He only sort of freed Ross.
This one time, if Ross does it again, if Ross does the
That's his
exact
7
same
points
thing
there.
again, he is getting the death
Off with his head,
penalty.
apparently. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Every one of these planks that has been violated by the Trump administration, by any administration, that's the kind of thing you organize around. Kyle just mentioned the Texas, what is it, House of Representatives? Was that it,
Yeah.
Kyle? Okay.
Yes.
Texas House of Representatives banning political memes, or voting or supporting a ban on political memes. Obviously, this is unconstitutional. You don't wait for the courts to do this. You get people's attention. I didn't know about this until Kyle let me know about it earlier a couple days ago.
For those curious about it, I am sending a link out on all of our platforms to the Texas scorecard, so you can read more about it.
Yeah, a meme regulation bill. A meme regulation bill. We laugh about this and we're kind of we're snarky about it, but it is serious. We talked earlier about how this is a critical time. Again, we missed our chance when it came to COVID. COVID laid the stage for a lot of this. It set the ground for a lot of this. We sleep on this. Who the heck knows what ground is going to be set? So one thing that we want to start trying to do, LP Alliance is Libertarian Party Alliance, and we are about making the Libertarian Party a powerful, principled force in politics. But again, that means going outside just the Libertarian Party and getting people involved. What we want to start doing, and this is very nascent, so we're asking for your help. What we want to start doing is we want to start helping people in various states organize, and say something and take a stand and reach out to others who can help with demonstrations, who can help with protests, who can help with canvassing. And that's going to look different in every state and every situation. But we want to put a stop to the violations on liberty that are happening, and we want to do it through civil means. And again, this is another call to action. Come to our Discord, help us out, and help us organize, help us brainstorm, because this is about more than just the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party is about more than just itself. And this is something that we're trying to do. We're trying to help people get involved when there are violations of liberty going
on. For those who are too lazy to go find the Discord, I just put the link out there for you. Sorry, YouTubers, you're going to have to copy and paste because of the way YouTube works. But there you go.
easier you make it, more likely people are to do what we ask them to. Some people just need to be handed everything. No fuss. Just paste
That's
this
me.
into your browser and join our Discord.
all link pasted in a browser is good.
And let us know what state you're from and what your name is, because it makes our job way easier. Okay?
Yes, we do have to vet you. Like if you're, if your screen name is like, I am Rose Leatherman's biggest fan 27, I don't know what that means. So we need to know your name, and just be able to do a quick vetting to make sure you're not some, kind of stooge of Michael Heise's or something like that.
Or Jim
Nice.
Wiley.
Nice try,
He's not
NSA
allowed.
Alliance. Yes, yeah. No, Kyle's
fight him.
courtship of Jim Wiley will have to continue elsewhere. By the way, we do have more Libertarian Party news. We have a theme. We have a theme for the Libertarian National Convention. And that theme harkens back to somebody the party has
No, it
already
doesn't.
spent far too much time on. And I did
Amanda
not
has it in
support-
her head that this is about Angela. This is about the fact that freedom rings and we must answer the call.
Really? So you're
That's all
not
it
going to
is.
explain why the theme is Freedom Calls?
It's because it's ringing and we have to answer.
And
You can't
I
just let the
have a
phone ring.
perfect. I want to get Andrew Fastow of Enron to give a speech at the National Convention on ethics. He gives speeches on ethics now. I'm not making this up. He does after he served his time in prison. He gives excellent speeches and presentations on ethics. And I think the party needs that sort of real messaging to get back to where we need to be on principle and we need to be ethical. And a
You know
lot
who
of
I
the
think?
issues.
Go on.
Yeah, I know, but I do think that Freedom Calls, we've taken this bad thing and we've now turned it around. And it also makes some people uncomfortable for obvious reasons.
I would just like to have uncompromising freedom and have the radicals enter. That's what I wanted. But now that you mention the CEO, former CEO of, is that Enron, you said?
Yeah, the treasurer.
Oh,
I think,
treasurer.
was
Okay.
the
Oh,
CFO, yeah.
Even better.
I think the Enron CEO is dead, I believe.
I think that we should have the CEO of Kohl's coming, because we've learned today in the Wall Street Journal that Ashley Buchanan, the CEO of Kohl's, has been fired for embezzling funds and sending them to their partner. I think that they could also come and speak and potentially be very welcome.
They should also have answered the call of freedom.
I think they answered the call of freedom a little too much.
What about
They
the
made the
CEO
mistake of
Whole
not trying to
Foods?
incorporate in Delaware, though. That was their mistake.
What about the CEO of Whole Foods? Weren't we so close to having some kind of agreement with them and possibly getting them on board? And then, yeah, they pulled out because of an LPNH meme.
That's what I've heard.
We can maybe we can talk to them and say, hey, we're trying to fix this, but we need based CEOs on board.
Maybe you can just talk nicely to Jeremy Kauffman and the LPNH, and maybe they'll change their ways if we just talk nice to them and just treat them very nicely. Or my favorite, I just don't pay attention to other states. I just don't pay attention to what the National Party does.
Yeah, that is a certain someone's strategy, is just to sit
Like
back
the
and ask
it's like the I'm in the KKK, but my chapter here, we don't do any of that. I just don't pay attention to what happens anywhere else.
I understand why some state parties, they're like, okay, I'm not going to pay super close attention to national. I'm going to focus on libertarian efforts here in my state. Like I kind of get that. But I've been saying for a long time that what I want, and I think what a lot of people in my state party want, is a national party that we can safely ignore, that's not going to light our image on fire every 5 minutes.
And for many years, that's what I did. And I was able to do that for many years. And without being too big, my biggest embarrassment was a guy dancing half naked on stage. I really don't have that much to complain about.
See, I see the National Party, if we're just a collection of state parties, right, then there's not enough coordination that can benefit our cause. And I want to see the National Party become really good at that. I want to see the National Party I want to see the officers become representatives of and spokespeople for liberty. And I would like them to work on coordinating for causes and representing causes nationwide across all 50 states. If there is something going on in Texas with political means, I want National to be helping people to speak out. I want National to be an organizing force for that. That is an ambitious vision for National, but it is something that we can get to if we have the right people working on this. That we can be a force for empowering people all over the country. National can do that. And then the states can lead in terms of what National will help them with. But National helps provide that structure that actually gets things done. Tyler wants to hear my thoughts on holacracy. so a couple different types. There's holacracy, the concept, right? And then there's holacracy, which is actually a way of organizing that's actually formatted. I am more familiar with the concept, although I am also familiar with the way of organizing. Holacracy is basically a non-hierarchical organizational method. And my thoughts, Tyler, are that it works very well. We do it informally in LP Alliance. And the actual way that, people have ended up formatting how a holacracy is supposed to work via holacracy with an A is really excellent. It's something that I think organizations that are cause-oriented rather than purely institutional should look into. I'm not sure that the Libertarian Party as a whole should conduct itself purely as a holacracy at this point, but activism networks, I think it's an excellent way to get member buy-in and have members be empowered, because when members are empowered, they act. And when we are, as a libertarian organization, we want individuals, again, as I said earlier, individuating themselves and expressing their uniqueness through the work they do for us. And holacracy is a great way to do that, where there's not really distinct rank. There's just, okay, you're leading this project. If you care about this project, you can participate in whatever, you're involved in whatever. Here are various initiatives. So there are no unilateral decisions, but there is contributions are based on the amount of work that someone does. So you get out what you put into it. I think that's a really great way to run an organization. Those are my off-the-cuff thoughts on holacracy. All right. There were a couple more things to get to. One of which is, we do have some Region 1 drama to get to, sticking on the LP news. So with very short notice, Region 1 chairs were informed that there would be an election of alternates for Region 1. And these elections are being held over the next few days. So it is very, very rapid. And of course, it is a little bit ironic because this is Andrew Chatterton who provided this notice. Individuals such as Andrew Chatterton, I think Chatterton himself, were upset about the lack of notice that was given to individuals when it came to the vacant Libertarian Party chair. Wanted more time to decide that. All of a sudden now there is a rushed Region 1 alternate appointment, and Kyle has a little bit more information on this as well.
But hopefully
Yeah.
properly noticed. I know there was debate about that earlier.
It's
unclear.
they're doing a 3-day email vote.
Okay, so that's how they get around the requirement for a certain number of days notice.
Indeed. It's still not clear, at least to me, I'm sure that there are people who it is clear to, if that actually meets all of the requirements. I know that there has been a push from the still pro Heist side of visas to go for Chatterton and Leah out of Michigan. I'm sorry, I said Chatterton and Leah. Leah out of Michigan, and then also Jim Wiley out of Colorado. As explained earlier, Jim Wiley cannot read a calendar. That's who they're trying to put forward. Jim Wiley cannot read a calendar. 45 is too high of a number to count. So those are the big two being pushed. Also in the running are Austin Martin, the Hawaiian chair, who is often lovingly referred to by LPA.
The crying Hawaiian. Who gave him that name?
Some trot.
Yeah, I didn't come up with it myself, but I have been using it.
I think it's probably a very brilliant person who's definitely not a Trotskyist. Probably came up with that name. Yeah.
Similarly, we have Tyler Donka of Wisconsin, who, like a lot of us would back Tyler. Because of the state right now of Region 1, that doesn't look super likely, especially given that Kentucky is very split. Kentucky's board like LPA-backed candidate Ken Molman won the chair spot, but the way Kentucky is set up means that their state steering committee is still Mises leaning, and so they get technically Ken wouldn't have to give them a vote here, but if Ken gave them didn't give them a vote, then they could just remove Ken because of the way their bylaws work. And so there's this nice checks and balances thing that goes on in Kentucky. So they are currently going through their internal vote. It's kind of this whole balancing act. The states that are still very much like for McCardle, for Heiss, for Aaron, whose last name is escaping me, the current chair of the Mises Caucus.
Aaron Harris.
Harris, thank you. They are in, the Tyler. Just because
Kyle
you say
was
your name
pronouncing-
American doesn't mean that I don't speak German.
Kyle is going to Kyle-splain the pronunciation of your name to you, Tyler.
Deine Name ist Danke.
That's
Es
terrifying.
ist nicht Danke.
I'm actually
Terrifying.
glad that I have not said it out loud because I wasn't sure how to pronounce it either.
I know that he says donkey, and so usually I would do the same.
Danky. Not
Danky,
donkey.
whatever.
Dainty.
I would have said
Donkey.
Yankee, yeah.
Donkey.
Danke.
Tyler's donkey. I don't think so.
Dainty. Yeah, I speak some German, and so it's hard. Right. Joe pointed out that Aaron Lamb was one of the people who was there. Aaron Lamb has
Mayor
officially
Lamb.
stepped down.
Mayor Lamb.
Sorry, Mayor Aaron Lamb, but he has officially stepped down. He's pulled himself out of the running for it. So it looks like the most likely folks in the running are Austin Cryan, Hawaiian Martin. Bryce Thon. Bryce Thon is also on this list.
I think it's Tone. Bryce Tone.
Tone. It is.
There's an H.
It's
Okay,
German,
Tone.
Kyle. Actually, you should have known that.
There's
That's
no
also
H's
a German.
in German used that way. There's no TH. That's why Germans have a hard time with the US th sound.
Right. So why would you say it's Thon? It's Tone.
Because there's no TH in German. That's the whole point.
Right. And there's also no TH sound in Tone.
I
rest
was
my
saying
case.
Thon for a long time until I heard him say it on video.
So there's Bryce, there's Austin, there's Jim Wiley, which if Jim Wiley gets elected, everybody should just point and laugh at Region 1, wherever you are. Just point and laugh at Amanda.
What did I do?
I mean, I'll do that.
You're the only one in Region 1 here, right? I don't think Iowa's Region 1.
So we have people in the chat who are Region 1. People can point and laugh at them. Yeah.
No,
Tyler.
I'm not going to
point
say
and laugh
Michael
at
Cheney's his
Amanda.
last name. I'll get that wrong too.
We just have one more additional reason to point and laugh at Amanda now.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
Tyler also
there are so
pointed out
many.
that Amanda has a meeting that she's supposed to be in right now.
Which I notified them, but I'm wrapping up, and I had notified, yes, Tyler, I'd notified Reese that I would be a little bit late potentially because I'm talking with the good people who are watching the business list. But we were getting to wrapping up as well. As for that, there are a few things that we need to plug. In the first place, I will be on Are You Smarter Than a Politician tomorrow night at 8 Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern. And the answer is no, I'm not smarter than a politician, but I'm going to be on there. We're going to have a lot of fun. You will hear a new track after a hiatus, new Agitpop track. So get excited for that. And we are also, Kyle and I are going to be talking with Stephen Nikela on the 3rd. And that is going to be at our normal time at 8 p.m. Eastern. So come and join us then. Anything else to plug? Did I miss something? I always feel like I'm missing something. What? Oh, I thought you were going to do something weird, Kyle. So you usually do.
I did.
No, I'm thinking because I always
You're
get
You
something.
just forgotten something to plug.
Did I?
Yep.
What?
Something.
He's joking, everyone, unless he's going to tell us at the very last minute. But no. All right. So yes, Are You Smarter Than a Politician? And then speaking with Stephen Nikela, we will be taking your comments and questions either preemptively or live. You can come and contribute as we're speaking with Stephen. Sorry. This is why I should never read text messages in the middle of a broadcast. No, we don't have anything else to plug. And that takes care of it for us this evening. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And until next time, we are the Business List.
Right. She wants me to hit end stream.
Yes, I do. Yeah, you are.
Bad. There's no outro this
I'll
week.
just keep smiling.
bye,